Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the More Analytics Afternoon Energy Podcast for February 9th, going into the 10th. I'm going to start off with natural gas. Left to maintain gap lower on the day. We leave a maintain gap higher tomorrow. That'll leave a minor bullish reversal below. Okay, we've been bearish since $8.20.8. On a more shorter term basis, the failure below 383 warned of pressure. We've seen pressure down to 311.10 and a number of other bearish calls in here. And then I said the trade below 339.20 projects this downward 260 ticks minimum, 930 ticks plus maximum. We've traded from 339.20 down to 311.10. Decent trade back above that line, which is going to come in at 344 plus 2 per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will warrant decent strength. This min max is going to be shaved. 240 to 910 going into tomorrow. But we've attained 281 of that so far. Now, there's one more thing you got to be aware of is this final possible exhaustion right down here at 301.90 to 297.30. And we've entered the ideal time frame for that to hold more than temporarily. If it does hold, we could start a whole new bull structure. If we blow through it, we're probably going to see more of these projections to the downside. We settle below there tomorrow, we'll probably likely head down to 257.80 and minus. And the crude oil broke above a bullish formation today. I'm not going to go over all the higher time frame stuff. We held exhaustion below the 54.89 low. We rallied $11.59. Number of other bullish calls in here. By the way, I can't highlight what I'm showing you right now. I had said this morning that I was having technical difficulties today and spent a long period of time working on those and still did not get them fixed despite reinstalling Windows, reinstalling Office, spending an hour and a half with a Microsoft tech on the phone. So bear with me. In any case, we did break above this 63.66 minus 2.8 line right here, and we've traveled up to 64.88. A decent trade above there will also warrant a decent strength, although I would not lean against it as a long. If we break above there decently and back down through it decently, look for decent pressure to come in. That's going to come in at 64.67 minus 1 per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if we fail back down through this line right here decently, that's going to warrant a decent pressure as well. That's going to come in at 63.38 minus 2.8 per hour. We further break below this formation, which is going to come in at 62.91 plus 1.3 per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. That'll project this downward $1.75 minimum, $5 plus maximum. If we break below there decently and back up through it decently, look for decent short covering to come in. If we further below up and take out this formation above, that's going to come in at 66.18 minus 0.1 of a tick per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. That'll warrant a much higher trade. If we break above there decently and back down through it decently, look for decent pressure to come in. One other possibility is we could be in a bearish correction against this move up, and this could be a large pullback within that before heading lower. But currently we're just bullish, but if we start failing back below these, we could see that play out And then that would lead into the ideal timeframes for some of these exhaustion levels to hold down here. Now the RBOB was a strong one coming out of the gate. I had mentioned that this morning here. I said, note the RBOB just turned bullish. And we saw the crude. See its strength there as well. Okay, so the RBOB, or unleaded gasoline. Okay, we held exhaustion below with a 169.78 low, and we have rallied up to 2.03. A number of other bullish calls in here. And then the trade above 190, 189. Excuse me. 194. Trade above 194.91 projects this upward. And we've seen that strength up to 2.03, as I said. If we fell back down through this line decently, that's going to warrant a decent pressure. That's going to come in at 194.48. Minus 3.3 per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Now we've also traveled up, and we're kind of holding this significant formation right here. If we break above there, we could see another. If we break above there decent, we can see another 30 cents to the upside. This is also an exhaustion level. We popped above it a little bit, but we're still basically holding it. So if this did roll over and fail down to take this out, then this could start a new bearish correction against the move up from 169.78. And if we take this area out more substantially, it's just going to open up the upside to further higher trade. The next possible extension exhaustion is going to come in at 203.92. But like I said, once we take this line out decently, that's going to open up the upside to much higher trade. If we break above there decently and back down through it decently, look for decent pressure to come in. A decent penetration in there overnight is going to be 227 ticks. Okay, and the heating oil broke above a bullish formation in here as well. And that came in right here, 241.36 minus 10 per hour. So that now has this bullish. If we fell back down through that line decently, that'll warrant decent pressure. That's going to come in at 240.40 minus 10 per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Further break below this line right here, which is going to come in at 238.95 plus 5.5 per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. That will warrant a decent pressure as well. A decent penetration in there overnight is going to be 300 ticks. You should see at least 4.5 cents to the downside if we break below the lower formation. Okay, the Brent broke above a bullish formation in here today. I actually did not have this formation drawn here. I drew that later, but that projects this higher. And now we're basically holding this line above. A decent break above that, a warning of continued strength. That's going to come in at 69.05 minus 1 per hour starting at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If we break above there decently and back down through it decently, look for decent pressure to come in. Decent trade below this formation right here, which is going to come in at 67.64. -3 per hour starting at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll warrant decent pressure. If we further break below this line, which is more substantial, that's going to come in at 67.15. Plus 1.5 per hour starting at 8 o'clock p.m. That'll warrant decent pressure for at least $2. And the gas oil, decent trade above this line above is going to warrant a decent strength. That's going to come in at 691.77. -24 per hour starting at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Decent trade below this formation, which is going to come in at 682.55. Plus 17 per hour starting at 8 o'clock p.m. That'll warrant decent pressure. And going into tomorrow, the RBOB is the strongest out of the three, the heating oil, the weakest out of the three, and the crude in the middle relative to one another. I would note if we see a maintained gap lower in the RBOB crack tomorrow, that'll leave a minor bearish reversal above. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good evening, and I'll see you on tomorrow's podcast.